All right, we are live. All right, all of you freedom-loving boys and girls, whomever you are, wherever you are, on this bright, majestic, kick-ass blue marble of a planet we call Earth or Terra, third rock from the sun, whatever you want to do. I realize that when I do that, it only picks up one side for whatever reason. That is supposed to be a cheesy drum roll. But anyway, welcome, Centerline System. This is one of our Thursday loadout lives. It's going to be a fun packed show. We're going to talk about the line of everyday carry belts that I make, the ones that I make for Centerline. I also make a concealment belt for the Jack over at Black Scout Survival and his great customers. I'm going to show that off too. But we have a very special guest here with tonight. And he is Czar Boroda from the Republican states of Slavlandia. This will make a little bit more sense if you keep drinking through the live stream. And we're going to give you a little bit of a hint, maybe halfway near the end of it. But Redbeard and I have been talking about something pretty funny. Well, I'm sorry, Czar, Your Highness, welcome to our show. Thank you for joining us.
Da, привет, товарищ. It's pretty good to be here,
Only pretty good. Thank you, Czar.
Hey, he's pretty good. Hey, buy lots of equipment, okay? This guy, he does not mess around, okay? We bought so much, I don't even know what to do with it myself, but...
somebody already just says, is it Friday drink time already? Hey, you do, Eugene. But yeah.
It's Friday somewhere.
It's Friday somewhere. And seriously, 2024 sucked it so bad. You've got to just kind of like start 2025 off with a drink, maybe. But anyway, seriously, it's a little bit of a joke. Redbeard and I have been messing around with. It's been making us laugh. So we're listening to it. Blackbeard, if you're watching, you've already kind of gotten the warning order that we're going to need your artistic skills to make this a reality. So everybody stay tuned. We'll talk about it just a little bit at the end. But Redbeard and I decided we're not going to go into too much detail until we kind of have it worked out. But welcome to the live stream. Tonight, we're talking about our line of belts and then some fun stuff. And as always, let me just kind of start it off. We had Gene. And I'm here to tell you, boys and girls, you don't have to do it. You do you. But the chat over on Telegram's been lots of fun. There's been all kinds of woos going on. And that's what we got right here. Gene from across the pond with a big woo. We got Henner Ben signing in from Minnesota. All right, Minnesota. Then we got Snowshoe Dave, which I do like his, checking in from Michigan, halfway between the People's Republic of Ann Arbor and the jungles of Detroit. Go live.
I like that.
That's really good, Snowshoe. Well done, sir. That's a good handle. That's a good checking in handle right there. Learn me something. Who knows who you are? Say Redbeard. That mane is looking majestic. By the way, boys and girls, learn me something over on, again, the CLS Gear Chat. He's been putting in some, good yeoman's work over there. He's just did another recipe, but we got to probably redo it and put it into two sections so it actually will upload, or we just do it as a video and keep it private. But more stuff's going to be happening over there. And then just a little plug for little Centerline. So when I'm doing the static videos, which I'm starting to do a lot more of, I post them over there, so they're private and hidden, but I post them over there for everybody to see and comment on. And then about 3 to 5 days later, I post them up on X, Rumble, and ScrewTube. Then Gene, that was the question: is it Friday? Is it Friday drink time already? You do you. And then Snowshoe saying it's always drink time. Gene gave him a big woo in return. And then Snowshoe saying this is the CLS Beard Owners Club. Well, so there's another one over on the chat. We're talking about the, a couple different plays on the bearded battalion, like the broken bearded battalion, the bearded bastard battalion. But there's a lot of bearded guys in this little sphere, And hey, those guys who don't have big beards, I'm thinking Blackbeard, Dave, they still have really good facial hair. So yeah, we're bringing back the facial hair, boys and girls.
Absolutely.
And then last but not least, we've got the accessorizer, aka Gimli, checking in, reporting for duty, sir. Hey, I'd sent you a message over on Telegram, by the way. No, we are not doing that one. I'm not even going to put that one up, Gene. Do not start with your shenanigans so early tonight. You guys can read it. I ain't putting that up there. I'm not putting that
I just saw that.
Yeah, what the hell, man? No, 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 and no. Gene's already throwing fireballs. He's like,
oh, that's
Donkey
so
Kong,
good.
just chucking stuff
So
at us
good.
already. Oh, cruddy. All right, here we go. We're gonna jump into belts. And now on a serious note, well, Redbeard is just a great human being, and we want to have fun. But Redbeard actually has one of the original belts, and maybe we start off with that. So before we kind of get into this, somebody be like, "Oh, how boring of a live stream! You're going to talk about a belt." Hey, if you think a belt just holds up your pants, well, go buy those little spaghetti noodle belts. Single layer. There's a lot of tactical belts that all they do is they just make it out of scuba webbing, and then and it's just ridiculous, right? So you're either wearing a steel band around your waist with no flexibility, or it's just a spaghetti noodle. Honestly, half of the stuff that's tactical American is all made with Chinese labor or Chinese materials. I'm gonna say any specific company. You guys figured out, we don't do that, but that's just the harsh reality. I can tell you, and when we do this, we'll talk about the belts. And I've said this before, and you guys leave me a comment, whether on demand or in the chat. I'm actually thinking about making a page over on Centerline Systems where I put the spec sheets up for all of our material. Like, I know it. I know I'm telling the truth. God is my witness, knows I'm telling the truth. There's a shit ton of companies that say, oh, it's made in America. Maybe you sewed it in America, but that isn't 17337 or Type 13, and that's not an Austria Alpine Cobra buckle, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So if you think, just like, well, belts, all they do is hold up your pants. Well, I mean, that's one of the many things and reasons why it's a pretty important one, especially if you have baggy pants, why you should have a belt. No one needs to see that shit, which we do. Matter of fact, all right, there's already a bad joke I could do right there about people who have pants hanging down and ass cracks and stuff. Whether
there's a stigma. There's a stigma there.
Yeah. So
the kind of attention most people don't want.
All right, so hey, let's start off with again. Now, when we first started the belt, this isn't kind of inside baseball or a little history if you're even remotely interested. But, I first started this company, Centerline is like a movement fighting, how you move, how you react. And that could be both armed, unarmed, and just flow, all that kind of stuff. It's your Centerline. So we were going to be a training company. And as I started doing it, and I'd been in the military, the agency, I had a whole bunch of belts, had purchased belts, been down that road. And I'm like, all these belts suck. And I'm like, well, if I'm going to teach people how to do these things, then I need to make a belt that I think works. And so, and now what Redbeard's going to show you, there was a reason why we did it this way in the very beginning. We don't make that product anymore. Nope. And for any of you aspiring small business owners, don't get sucked up into the, I better get this patented. You'll spend a lot of money, which I did for absolutely no reason. Once you kind of get a little bit more into the business and mature, you're like, that was I think I wasted $3,000 patenting the thing that went with Blackbeard's belt.
Yeah.
And that was just dumb. So, but anyway, Blackbeard, your lighting is okay, but show us. And somebody referenced you in a text message to me when they were finding out you were going to be the guest. Oh, and I can't remember if they called you the godfather of the belts but you literally have
it's OG. Like it's it is OG. Like,
yep.
I don't know if I was the first person, but I was like right in the very beginning.
Yes.
So I'll show you. I'll show you the outside first, and then I'll show you kind of the inside of what you have going on here. So this is the very first belt I ever got from Mark. I got this about 10 years ago. You can kind of see some of
that actually may have been 11 years ago. I'm trying to think.
Possibly, yeah.
11 or 10 or 11 years ago. Yep.
This has been through numerous hikes, camping trips, landscaping, labor or railroad work. It's been through everything. I've put this through everything. Yeah, it has a little bit of wear, but I mean, for all of the abuse that I've put this through, I mean, it still stands up really good today.
And, inside, if you opened it up, they might be able to see it. But boys and girls, that belt was ATAX AU was the material we did. Just now go right down there. So I'm sorry, that was FG. So that's the original ATAX FG. But just, I mean, so look how, that's an 11-year-old belt. I mean, that just looks, I don't know. When you see it in person, it's even a million times better. Redbeard was over here last winter and I wanted to steal it from him. And like, I'll make you a brand new belt. Let me just have that for all my, well, yeah, now put the buckle together and show that. So yeah, no, put them both together.
Yep.
And so just the wear, the use, and then there's such a good patina on this Austria Alpine Cobra buckle. I mean, like, you know, you would never, and that's why we do the Life Happens belt policy. I would never want another buckle other than that one, because man, that buckle can tell a million freaking stories, you know. And that buckle, again, 11 years later, is showing some wear and tear, but it ain't slowing down. Just like the material. Yep. And then if you just put
still has, I mean, there's no give. There's no loss of retention at all. Like, it's just.
Hey, boys and girls, you see what he just did? And we've all had friends like that. He was just trying to flex his muscles right there. You know, he's got some guns. Like, oh, I had a buddy who was like, oh, we have to go over. Everything was like a pose to him every moment he had. So I thought Redbeard was just trying to pose up, pulling that belt. Hey, before we get into it, there's already a question for you. So let me just kind of jump up and just do as we normally do here. And again, it's Thursday. It's a Loadout Live. We are going to try to keep this at an hour. I am very serious about moving forward this year. CLS After Dark, 2 hours, done. Loadout Lives, 1 hour, done. Oh, and then just on that note, and I'll come back to it. Maybe we'll do some housekeeping at the end. I'm also thinking of changing the date for the Loadout Lives and sliding left 24 hours and doing these on Wednesdays. And I'm not going to lie, it's really about me selfishly, like, you know, working all the way up to last second, doing this, and then Friday, and then I personally wouldn't mind having a breather in between the two things. So, but we'll get back to that. So let's just do the comments. And here's the comment, that the first comment after the comment from Gene that will never be read or spoken. Oh Lord Jesus, Gene, you know, okay. Then Gene taking it back down to PG-13. Well, that was still that was adult PG-13, what he said. It was pretty funny. Sing your praises. Yeah, you know, you shouldn't sing your praises, but it is my channel, so I guess I'll do it.
Yeah.
And then John is saying to you, he loves the dwarf beard.
I'll take it, man. I like it. You know, it's a labor of love. It's a labor of love.
Right on. Now we've got Knife Nerd, who I've never seen before. So hello, Knife Nerd, to whomever you may be. Welcome to our live stream. I don't know if this is a question for me or you, Redbeard. I think you want to take that first. I mean, I'll say what mine are. I
can show the one that I carry with me every single day. It's nothing crazy. It's a Gerber. It's pretty simple, but it works for everything I need. Holds a pretty decent edge. The only thing I tried to find, you know, a full tang, something that didn't have like any of the swivel or anything to break down. But this was probably the best one that I could find. This was still like $70 for, you know, and that's just, and I didn't want to cheap out on it, but I mean, overall the retention's held really well on it. I've done quite a bit of work with it already. It's not super damaged or anything like that, because I don't just, you know, spike it into rocks like some people, but it's good. I like it. It's light. It fits well in my pocket. Take it everywhere. Holds an edge. Gerber overall, like, it's, I guess I'll just kind of end it with this. Like, it's one of those knife companies that they do well enough and they create well enough of an edge for like the every person to carry. And you're not really going to be overwhelmingly disappointed, at least in my experience. Now, is it top tier? No. Is it decent for the price? Yeah, it might be even a little bit spendier, but it's not a bad knife. And I don't think they're a terrible company. So that's what I got.
Knife Nerd, you definitely reached out. Not to me. I'm not much of a knife nerd. I do have knives. I'll show you my EDC knife. But Redbeard, I'm sorry, Sar Baroda does fall into the category of knife nerd. And I'm not, you know, again, I'm going to plug the group chat over on Telegram. We just had this kind of knife conversation just going the other day. People were talking about their everyday carry knives and stuff. So mine's a little different because, and I'm, look, these are tools, right? This isn't even a weapon for me. Like, I have to cut cardboard, packaging, whatever. I'm probably using this, you know, 90% of the time for just, again, it's a tool for routine things in which you need a knife. So this is a Wenger blade. I don't even know what this is called. And it's old. I think you can see it right there.
Mm.
But it's just a nice little short blade. And just like what Redbeard just said, I mean, it holds an edge really nicely. It's got a nice. This is definitely a don't touch this end. It'll poke you type of thing. And then what I did then is I modified. I can't remember. He sent me. I had to pay extra, whatever, special request. This sheath isn't what normally comes with this knife, but I wanted this up in my center line so I could either draw left-handed if I needed to, or I could cross draw right-handed if I needed to. And truth be told, that's again how I'm doing it half the time. I'm just kind of like kung fu grip hooking my hoodie, pulling it up, and then just pulling it right out. Filleting the cardboard, die cardboard, and then just be able to put it right in there, and it just sits there all day long. That's my preferred everyday carry knife, but I just want to throw this up because this is a little bit into Blackbeard or Redbeard side. Now we're kind of talking about knives, not belts, but those things go together, right?
Yeah, they go together.
So mine is a little Emerson, pocket carrier. This would be my other knife. But what's nice is they kind of came up with that little wave thing. So when this is in your pocket, it automatically deploys as you're pulling it out of your pocket. Yep. So
that's super nice.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people don't like serrations. It's got serrations right back here on the tang. And but I like it because again, that actually works really good for cutting cardboard quite a bit. And I have to cut a lot of cardboard. So
it's one of those things, if I can add real quick, like serrations do have their place. Like it's not like it's the worst thing you can put on a knife. They do have their place. I think the big thing is you got to kind of be cognizant of like what you're using it for, or where you're using it, because that can make a difference. For everyday use, I don't think serrations are a net negative. Now, if you're trying to do more specific things, it may be. That's my 2 cents on the matter. But
hey, knife nerd,
I've had several knives with serrations, and it's been fine.
Hey, knife nerd, welcome to the live stream. And you can already see sometimes these just get off the rails, and like we just start talking, dude. But we're trying to have fun, and these podcasts, these lives, and I mean this very seriously. I've just talked to somebody the last 2 days who also has been a customer for a while. I can't call the guy at like 5 or 4, 16 or 1700 because I want to, every time I do, I want to open up a beer and sit and bullshit with the guy. But he might come on as a guest as well, and that's what we're trying to do. So we're just having fun right now, and half the time it's a shit show. Somebody thought when I said shit show the other day, no man, it's just like it just is what it is. Like I guess you could call it a hot mess or whatever. But all right, here we go. Just finishing up, and then knife nerd. So there, I guess we did the right thing. He said he wanted to hear from both of us. No, Gene, actually, first to you, that's a load-bearing belt. Then here's my favorite. Learn me something. Throwing it right back at you, Czar.
Hey, I appreciate any time that somebody I do appreciate any time that somebody kind of works into it. It's good. It makes it enjoyable. It really does.
I just got to let you know, learn me something, that when he opens up his embassy, I already have first in line, for the student visa or the resident visa.
I'm here to tell you guys, when you come to apply for my wonderful nation that I'm assembling, we're doing Hilexes and either Dishkas or cords. Okay, so you get that upon citizenship. I mean, it's
all right. We're 19 minutes in. We haven't even talked about belts except showing off your badass one, and I want to come back to that one time. But last final comments. John is saying if you know how to sharpen, serrations don't matter. I mean, that can be a part of it. And even with serrations, if you've got the right tools, you can even keep serrations sharp. Just think chainsaw, that kind of stuff. And knife nerd, no, thank you for asking that question. And thanks for making it. This is what we're here for, right? And this is why you're here. So it's got to be entertaining or educating, educational or entertaining, or, join us tomorrow night and it'll definitely be all the above. So going to be less
I do want to kind of also,
and then just one last time, because learn me something's backing up. He's putting his money where his mouth is. And he's giving everybody Krasnaya Baroda. Yeah. So he might even be picking up a little bit of what we're putting down with this. It happens. So all right, let's see that belt one more time, and then I'm going to kind of just do.
I just wanted to add too, like, you guys can tell you know, when you look at the belt, I mean, there's just a tiny little bit of like fray on the edge, very little, like it's negligible. But what I wanted to point out is like all of the stitching on the belt here, like none of that stitching over a decade of wear and tear and use, none of that stitching has failed. It hasn't come out, it hasn't, nothing. And like I said, I've used it in cold weather, hot weather, humid weather, all different types of environments, different types of work. I've had guns on this, I've had knives on this, I've had load-bearing equipment on this. You know, I've used it as an everyday belt and everything else, and it hasn't failed. Like,
hey,
this
so
is
just on that note, let's just roll with that then right there. So keep it available.
Yep.
So you know, look what he's talking about in Redbeard. If you hold it up really close, your camera might pick up that little bit, because it's not really fraying. It's because that's what it's a 17337. So just like anything, you're gonna get little like scuff marks or scuffing or whatever, right?
Little furs or whatever.
Yep. But it's not the material coming apart. It's just the materials finally starting to show some wear.
It's distressed, you know, a little bit. It has patina. Yeah, I mean, it's I can't, like, it's not, you know, I'll just be honest, like it has literally nothing to do with the fact that I've known Mark for a long time or that we've been friends. Like, this is an honest, like, no BS, like, feedback. This is the longest lasting, it's the best belt that I've bought for the money, like, hands down. Whether you're using it just to wear around your pants, to hold your pants up, or you're using it for other types of activities, it hasn't failed. So you do get your money's worth out of this. And I'm not here just to, like, be an advert for Mark, but I'm telling you my experiences. So
well, hey, so we got a experience. Well, here, so again, don't put it aside. Just hang on to it. I mean, you're gonna be part of my props here. So Gene just asked the question, what are the rivets for? And so Gene, when I first did this, right? So this was before, I mean, appendix carry is kind of here just for everybody. This is obviously a training weapon. This is not a real weapon, and that's not a real magazine. This is just whatever. But with these style holsters, Gene, and we're not going to turn this into that type of video, but I really like this style holster. But with a lot of these holsters, you can replace the mounting brackets, and I made a system. Now that actually was part of the concealment side of it, what he's showing you right now. And then rotate it the other way. Well, you could have shortened it and just, there you go. And that's the, kind of the mount. So you had this ability where you could mount your holster platform up in the front. Now that's the rear where these other two straps attached. And then I actually was using like neoprene, like scuba diving, wetsuit. And we were cutting it and sewing a certain way. So again, when you made a Kung Fu grip, even with 3 layers of clothing, just like what we make for the med pouch for Jack over at Black Scout Survival, there was like this big grippy tab. So you would always get it. And then as you pulled up, that would open up the concealment. The weapon would be something like this. And then you could draw from your center line. That's what we were doing. And then, but when that neoprene was over it, so it's outside of your waistline. It's an outside waistline. This is a mid-frame, and a pretty thick holster. Man, that neoprene just kept it close to your body. It didn't print for shit, even with the t-shirt, especially if you got a little tactical girth, how it rode. So that's what we were doing. That's what I spent way too much money freaking, going and submitting it for, what can I think of it right now? I patented the damn thing. It cost me over $3,000. I'm like, and then you realize how stupid that was. But hey, and then just one other thing, just to show off here. You can put that down for a sec. But losing. There we go.
Oh boy,
this probably isn't going to show up as well. But there, maybe you can kind of see it. So this training weapon I have right here simulates it. It's the same weight of a real, handgun, a real Glock. But, so our belts, to Redbeard's point, as I try to kind of plug it, it's not just a layer of scuba. It's not just a layer of some cheap Chinese material. It's 2 layers. So it depends on the colorway. This outer layer is either a 55301 and the same with the inner layer, or depending, it could be a single-sided or double-sided 17337. And then in between, you can, that's why I've got the Coyote Brown, and you can see that blackness in there. And in between, that's a layer 500575. Some people call it scuba, right? But the designator is 500575. So this belt is, you can just see as we're holding these things, right? And I just had the weapon on there, the training weapon. Yep. So it's in very casual, very, very comfortable to wear, and it doesn't bug you. It's not like putting a steel band around your waist.
Yep.
I mean, I've got pictures someplace of me in a Hugo Boss suit with a black one. This was the belt I was wearing, that's when I was all svelte and everything, and I'm wearing one of those belts. But so, I used to say casual, practical, and tactical, and that's kind of it. You can wear it every day with blue jeans, a sport coat and a button down, or a full on friggin' suit, or with your uniform. So you can see this. So here's the standard and we only use real Austria Alpine Cobra buckles. And there's even a little story on that I might share. It'd be kind of cool. But then, and it's no offense to Austria Alpine, I think their colorways have gotten better. But, for me, it was really, really a little bit about the application at the beginning. And I'm friends with Blake from Fog Firearms, and he Cerakotes all my personal weapons and everything. And I love his craftsmanship. So you can see it's a much closer match. No offense to Austria Alpine, but we can dial in the Cerakoting. So we do Cerakoting on the buckles, and we do have a couple different colors. And we might bring some colors back next year. We've done special runs, like we did that, Marine Corps one last, was that 2023? I think that was 2023. We even did a special one for the Marine Corps. We do these for Jack. So this would actually have the Black Scout logo on here, and when the buckle separates, the logos. So we can do some really cool things with Cerakoting. Doesn't degrade and take away from the Cobra buckle in the least bit. And we got some pretty cool colors on that. Obviously black is the most popular color, but gosh, what are our colorways right now? So again, what Redbeard has, we haven't carried that in a long time.
Yeah, this guy here.
Yeah, I don't even know if I could even get that anymore,
Something I also want to point out.
And see, just real quickly though, your Velcro is still doing pretty damn good.
Yeah, I was just gonna point that out. I'm pulling on the Velcro, and it's still normally Velcro would kind of pop, a little bit, but that's pretty good.
Well, and don't forget, everybody, really, the Velcro has nothing to do with keeping the belt around your body. Yeah. That's what the buckle and the tri-glide system in the buckle's for. That Velcro is really just like belt tip management. You could use your pant loops. It's the same damn thing. The Velcro is just a convenience to have.
It's just nice to know that you have something that after so long, from all different types of things, that it doesn't fail. I don't have to worry about this flopping out and whatever. I don't
getting caught on a piece of machinery or
100%
sucking you into the train tracks and getting run over.
It's suboptimal at best.
Kind of. Unless it's that Rick and Morty episode where you did it intentionally to cut off your hand because you didn't like being the Portal Boys. Hey, I kind of just lost my train of thought real quickly. What we were just talking about. One last plug for just how that really that quality material. And I know again, okay, Mark, we get it. Shut up. But if you look at how that has faded in the patina on that buckle, that's what you get with quality. And so here's where I'm going with this. So I even mentioned this in a video a few months ago. I had a customer, no harm, no foul. The guy had ordered from me first time ever, and then called me up on his own volition, called me up afterwards and just wanted to talk about how he thought it was awesome. And one of his comments was, even the material feels different. And I'm a big, I use Kadura. I'm like, and no, I didn't want to be mean, and I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm like, well, that's the difference between no shit American, mil spec Kadura brand Kadura and cheap ass shit from China. And that's what I think you get here. So, if you even look at the patina on that Cobra buckle or that belt, that's one of those kind of things where, you might even just retire it because, and I really want to steal it from Redbeard because I wanted to have it in here so I can always show it off. I mean, just, yeah, I mean, that's just bad assery right there. I think if you're into this kind of stuff, it is. If you're not, yeah, you'd be like, what are you guys talking about? Guess we could start talking about our beards again, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it is one of those things to where like there is something gratifying, whether it's a belt or whether it's like a piece of, it sounds ridiculous, but even a good piece of furniture, you know, to where it's been in your family forever. I mean, it sucks to move, but man, does it look good in the corner, you know?
These two stupid little bookshelves are in my corner, and this table I'm at right now. I don't ever, you've seen this table personally, Redbeard.
Yeah.
I don't want to get rid of these things. Like those don't have books on, but like, dude, that will be some of the furniture that, you know, just to your point, like it's high quality, handcrafted. I don't care if I'm putting figurines on it or actual books. It's going to find a use, right?
Right. Yeah.
All right. Hey, moving on the belts here real quickly. So two things. I'm going to end it with the belt we make for Jack. But so two real quick things. So stay tuned. I'm going to do a video in the next week or two. It'll be a standalone video. I'm not going to do this during a live stream. It'll be a standalone, you know, on its own video on demand VOD. But, you know, every year you, as a business, well, not every business, oh, maybe every business, but I have to anyway. I have to do an end of the year inventory for taxes, right? As you're kind of getting all your shit together. So every year, you know, I have to go and review and record and report how much material that I purchased that year is still on the shelf at the end of the year, right? You know, because then they take that out and you don't get it, whatever, they don't get a break on it. Now, this material is years old, but I just had to go through the other part of the shop and start pulling some stuff off. And I'm going to do on the website, I'm going to do like a do-it-yourself section. And other things though are just, I'm just going to give them away. So, and that'll be a little bit, that'll make more sense when I do the video, but I have a bunch of webbing that either we don't use anymore. And I have a limited amount of plastics from a colorway that we haven't used. I just stumbled upon those the other day. I'm like, where the hell have these things been? You know, one of those, you got too many bins. You don't know what you have in it. Hopefully there's not like a vampire or a werewolf in one of those bins. You know, bring it. But, or that's maybe why I feel so drained of blood in the every morning. I'm like, why am I so tired? You know, 2 little puncture wounds on my neck every morning. But anyway, I got bins. So I found a bunch of plastics. I have a bunch of webbing. Some webbing I'm just going to give away, and I'll explain the reason why when I do that video. So stay tuned if you're a do-it-yourselfer. But just on that note, so here's one I found last year, or it may have been even 2023, and I can't remember. But we had Cryptech for a short period of time. So I have about a half of a roll of this. So I'm not going to put this stuff on the website, but if you watch this now, or if you're watching on demand, and I did this one in Coyote Brown. Yeah, there you go. Now you can see it. And my green shirt's kind of, there you go. Coyote Brown, the Cryptech. Yeah, I don't know. I just think that was pretty cool. I'm not going to bring it back as a always have pattern, but I do have the material to make a handful of belts. And, or when we open the do-it-yourself, I just maybe we'll sell it by the yard, you know, yardage or whatever. You know, again, tell me a good joke and I'll give it away. Here we go. Hang on real quickly. We'll just get caught up. And then I got one more belt to do, Czar Boroda. And then we'll kind of go into what we kind of want to get going. John was saying, amen. Not sure where we even were 3 minutes ago. That's a Hall of Fame belt. He's talking to you, Redbeard. Yep.
Yes, it is.
We've been Biden kissed. Not really sure.
Talking about being drained, I think.
Oh, yeah. He's a vampire or a reptile. That's where I was like, you know, trying to go. Gene is throwing some good ones out there. He's been on fucking fire, you know. And then John is saying he wants it. I don't know if that's like a private thing you meant to say to me, and you know, with no one was listening, you know, with some heavy breathing involved, or if you were talking about the webbing right there. I'm not sure where we're going with that. There,
or both, you know.
Yeah. Hey, you know, you could, you know, tie. Okay, we'll just stop right there again. It's already a shit show. Totally going off the rails. I think I'm losing control of just doing my own videos. Hey, here's the last belt I want to show off. And I had a different shirt on, but, you know, I want to, you know, represent. So I hope this is still going to show up. So for Black Scout Survival, we make a concealment belt. Jack reached out to me a long time ago, wanting me to make it. And I have personal experience with concealment devices and clothing from my time in the agency. I didn't make those for myself. I mean, you can imagine, what did they call him in James Bond? Gene, let us know. What did they call the guy in James Bond who's always doing their gimmicks and their gadgets?
Oh,
that's not M. Q. Isn't that Q? That's Q or something like that. Q or S or whatever.
Something like that, yeah. Some letter in the alphabet.
Q. Oh, Gene just said Q. Yeah,
okay.
So it's Q.
Yep.
So, obviously that shit, it's kind of real. And so anyway, I had this real world firsthand experience doing it. Jack has that real world firsthand experience. Wanted to try to bring those experiences and that together, and we ended up coming up with the concealment belt. Now, it's not a true concealment, because it's not a true concealment. It's not a deep concealment. Let me just say that. So it's not going to survive near scrutiny, but it definitely survives far scrutiny, and it even just would survive, a pat down. But look, for me, it's some quarters. So there's a concealment pocket up, and I'll show you in a second, up in the front. So if you were handcuffed or tied up, if you were taken hostage or whatever, your hands would either be in the front or the rear. So in the front, there's a smaller pocket. I mean, you do you. For me, the reality is, shit, I don't have any quarters, because who even carries change around anymore? And you're somehow now you've got to hit a parking meter. And a lot of those things are credit card driven too. But, in case you still had, you needed quarters for something. And then in the back one, a spare house key or $100 bill or a $50 bill, that's how I use it. But you could use it for, a thumb drive. You could use it for, surreptitious entry, or recovery or survival, especially if you're traveling abroad. But I'm just going to warn you that like that James Bond shit doesn't fly. You go through customs and you have to take off your belt, and they see it, because again, it won't survive near scrutiny. Yeah. They're not going to think you're a civilian. There's a bunch of people on social media like, oh, do this and do that. I'm like, you're a fucking retard, dude. I did this for real. You know what'll happen to you if they catch you with what you're saying to do? You're going to have your fingernails pulled out, and maybe somebody at the embassy will find out you're in custody a week later after you've been gang raped and all kinds of horrible things, but they're going to think you're a friggin' spy. And spies don't do that shit. So don't be a bag of Richards. But, but you can still use it, right? It still has all kinds of practical use if that's what you're into. Dude, I've used my surreptitious entry skills to get into my, the houses and cars of my friends. I can't even tell you how many times. So it is a skill that is worth having. And again, and who doesn't want to have a spare house key or the comfort of knowing I've got an extra $100 in my pocket if I lose my wallet or, not my pocket, but my belt. So I'm going to try to do this. Let me try to see how I'm going to be able to do this properly. There, kind of. All right. So this here, we're front of the belt right here. So there's a pocket, and you can kind of see it right there. And it's got, and right on the end, right here, there's a little, I'm going to pull it out. So your items are in there, and there's a little pull tab. Now this was, me and Jack, I didn't have this. It's based on something from that I really had in real life, but this is our civilian version. And I probably should make one of these belts and do that in red so it shows up. Matter of fact, there's a note to myself. I'll make another one of these belts, and I'll use red for the pull tab so it's easier to see. Because, again, you want it to match up and blend as much as possible. But just by pulling on this, and now you should be able to see, I just have some excess material. But that material, if you can kind of see, is tucked in and folded. So your items are tucked in. Yeah, I'm going to have to do this again with red. Yeah. Sorry, Jack. I'll make another belt with red pull tabs, and that'll show up a lot easier, and I'll do a special video just on that. But the whole purpose behind that was whether your hands were in front, and I'm not joking, ransom, tourism ransom or tourism kidnapping, these are real things in different parts of the world. Rolling over tourists, kidnapping tourists, trying to steal your money, your passports. That's why, if you travel abroad, sorry to plug it, go over to Reno Dads with our friend DB. Helped him write that article years ago about foreign travel. Just some little pointers. That's Reno Dads. That's a great little organization. Him and a couple buddies have started out in Reno, Nevada. But we got a couple of little articles over there on surveillance detection. But But one of the fun ones, kind of what we're getting at here, is international travel. You know, and honestly, back to Snowshoe Dave, you know, checking in from, wherever, and then the jungles of Detroit, man, you might need that shit in America nowadays. I mean, you know, heck, you have no idea what's going to happen. You know, anytime you leave your house, it's just starting to turn pretty freaking chaotic. So I'll do a better job of the deployment of the concealment belt that we make for Black Scout. I'll do that as its own video. That'll be obviously, I'll just probably do that on demand, you know, just adjust me, and I'll make a new belt with red pull tabs. So that can be shown off more, because I'll show you. I think there's a very simple trick to load it, to put the items back into your belt. I'll just save that for the other video. We're at 40 minutes. Where does the time go, Redbeard? Where does the time go when you're having fun, boys and girls?
I have zero idea. I actually had talked to my dad the other day, and I was like, dude, has it really been a year's worth of time already? Am I just going insane, or has it been a year's worth of time? Like, I didn't even get used to being like, you know, 31. Where did 31 go for me? You know, like, it's gone. I didn't even see it. I had no fun times, no nothing. Like, I worked and I dealt with things around my house that needed to fix. It all went to work, you know. And before I knew it, like, Christmas was here and Thanksgiving and all of that. And I'm like, dude, like, what the heck?
Time waits for no man, woman, or child.
No.
Great song by what's his name? He went out on his own. He used to play for Black Label Society, but good song.
Oh, hey, yeah.
Just wrapping up the belts as we kind of transition. All right, so getting Redbeard ready for our closing. Over on Centerline, we also make two 1.75-inch belts. So here's one of them. This is mine. I just got it rolled up. This is in multicam black. I don't think we're going to bring multicam black. So, not putting too much out there, but you guys and gals are smart. This is, you got to get it in two-sided webbing. This is a type 13 webbing. It's an 1 3/4. Way much more. I mean, that's a shit ton of money sitting on the shelf if you're not making a shit ton of belts in that colorway. We just didn't make a whole bunch in the multicam black, and I just don't know if I'm going to justify, spending, a ton of money to have multicam black. Right now, we've got black, Ranger green, and Coyote brown in the 1.75. And then last but not least, so that 1.75 is the one EDCP. That doesn't have an overlong belt tip. It's got a normal belt tip, no Velcro, so just like it's like the regular belt, except no Velcro. You just run the belt tip back on itself through your belt loop, and then there's an elastic keeper type of thing to help keep the belt tip management. And then now, last but not least, and we've got some videos coming up on these guys in the near future. We just did one with Blackbeard not too long ago, and we're going to do one with Gimli in the near future. This is our Sherpa belt. It's a 1.75 with a super long extended belt tip that you can put into like a wool noose or tie off. It's designed to go on the outside of your clothing, right? It's already designed to be a little bit larger. It's designed to be worn over, at least one, if not multiple layers of clothing. And as you can see, it gives you all kinds of different tie down points. Maybe you can't really see it, but there's 1-inch webbing running around the outside of it in loops. And that gives you the ability to mount other items to it. So nice. Stay tuned. Again, we're going to have a nice loadout video of this. Blackbeard did a really good loadout video. That was last year. You can go check that out. And then we've got another one coming up in about a month or so.
That's awesome.
All right. Where do we want to go, Redbeard? Or should I call you Barada one more time? Or should I just go transition to Redbeard? Here, actually, hang on. Here we go. Okay. John is saying he wants the belt. Well, if you really do, this is an NQ3. I guess I should have plugged that too. Sizing, each one of these belts is at least 4 sizes. And you go on the website and look at the pant sizing, like a 32 to 36. It's designed to give you a lot of, and if you've got questions, and I'm serious, I talk to people all the time, if you're new at, concealed carry, or not sure if you're going to carry inside the waistband, outside the waistband, where carried, what type of frame, single stack, double stack, da. I mean, I can talk you through it and help you and just, as best I can over the phone, but, we've done this for a very long time. I myself personally carry. So, I've got that kind of background and experience in it too, and help talk you through what you might want to do. And then God bless you. Let's say, you're fat like I am right now, just because of lack of exercise, not being able to work out, I've never been this heavy in my life, so, and, knock on wood, I stay alive and I can start exercising and I start reducing my weight. Well, that belt I'm wearing right now isn't going to fit me, when I drop, 30 pounds. Well, that's why we have the Life Happens belt policy. So again, that's all on the website too. And you can take advantage of that. I'm already kind of doing, I know this is the loadout and I'm supposed to be plugging my gear, but really Blackbeard, I want to kind of talk about Slavlandia. But here, let me just finish. Okay. So Dunphy is saying he wants that belt. It's an NQ3, John. Then Gene had already answered that question. That was Q. And then he hit to you. Yeah, the older you get, the faster time goes. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Yeah. And then you brought this upon yourself. Then Henner Ben is saying it only gets worse as you get older, and then Ground Fog is like maybe trying to like bail you out with a clap, whatever. Welcome. You're still a youngin', my good man.
Yeah. Yeah. Some days I don't feel like it though, but it is what it is.
All right. Slavlandia. We're at 46 minutes. So for the next, let's give it 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Let's maybe tease people with what we're thinking about. And this is going to be a CLS After Dark episode. Well, and before we do that, sorry, again, just kind of wrapping up the belts. It's all on the website. We, the 1.5 inch belts, 55301 or 17337, depending what you're getting. 2 layers of that inside and outside over a layer of 500575. If any other company doesn't know that shit and can't say it, then they're buying cheap ass Chinese stuff and you should be buyer beware. Actual Austria Alpine Cobra buckles, not rip-offs from fucking China. I mean, look, there is an American company. You do your own research. I wanted to go with them, but and I got a buckle. I got a couple buckles. No offense. This is just me personally. I like the Austria Alpine. I just think it's still. But if an American company makes it better, now this is Berry compliant, and that's why it's used in the military because it still is. And that's why you see it in Hollywood and all that kind of shit. So again, no offense to anybody else out there. I want to support you, but that is kind of the best thing. If somebody makes something from China that puts my shit to bed, to rest, I'll be like, damn, okay, I've got to admit that, like that's made in China with slave labor, and it's a million times. No, okay, I guess you do you. Still be concerned about why you would be buying something from a country that treats its people like, cattle, but whatever, to each their own, right?
Well,
welcome to the new year, boys and girls. I'm not going to give this a rest. I mean, like our economy is so. I'll see. I'm already getting into Friday night, Gene. That's why it's not Friday, Gene, but it's already starting to feel like that.
Just to put I guess like a more optimistic or like a softer bow tie on this, because this is something me and Mark have talked about ad nauseum at this point. Many phone calls. But I do want to I'm sure a lot of you guys know, but and this is going to be part of a conversation we'll also have on CLS After Dark or maybe even Millstone. I think we had talked about this. But when it comes to like belts or backpacks and stuff like that, and Mark knows I've done this before, but dude, like, don't be afraid of taking a little Rust-Oleum to it and change the pattern. Experiment with it, play with it. Like, that is why we buy this stuff, so that way we can design it into ways that we think that makes sense. Like, he has a rugged belt, play around with it, like, just because you bought one in Ranger Green doesn't mean it has to stay that way. So you're paying for a quality belt, not necessarily to keep it the color it is. That's all I wanted to say about that. I just think it's something that we really I feel like is really worth pushing, because I think it's a comfort zone thing for a lot of people. Oh, it's not going to turn out looking perfect. You don't want your stuff to look perfect. I promise.
And just kind of bringing it back to was it Knife Geek or Knife Nerd? But this handle was not that color. Like, that's so much natural oils. That's so many years of using this, 2 or 3, maybe 4 times a day, all that oil on there. It's so much better. And it means so much more to me to see all of that sweat and dirt and everything on it, as opposed to, Oh, I wish it was still bright and brand new and shiny. These aren't freaking Air Jordan sneakers, dude. And I don't even know why people put sneakers on and then freak out thinking they might get dirty. I'm like, yeah, they're on your feet. Of course they're
Might as well
get
put
dirty.
plastic bags over them at that point.
Yeah, just put them on a shelf and never touch them. I mean, something. You get it. You get it.
So that was my PSA. Didn't mean to off track.
That was a good PSA. That was a good PSA.
But Slavlandia, yeah. What about it? It's so this
again. Remember our conversation?
Yeah. So I'm
shui, my good man. Just shui.
So to kind of give people an idea of how this even came, like this was something before Mark even knew it was a thing. I was joking about this with a couple people and some a mutual that we've worked with, Blackbeard, and I was actually kind of tongue-in-cheek making fun of Blackbeard and where he lives, because I was like, well, we'll fix all of your municipal problems, no big deal. But the whole thing is like, it's kind of it's going to be a fun little project. I'm not going to tell you how it's going to be fun, but just kind of be on the lookout for it. The Republican states of Slavlandia and yours truly, Sarboroda, we're going to do something pretty wild. And Mark's in on it. He's fully invested, and we're going to volunteer Blackbeard that he's going to help us too. And I guess that's all I'm going to say is it's going to be interesting, and just be on the lookout down the road for I don't know, maybe some items, I guess. I'll put it that way.
Look here, just to break, just give a little bit. We're having fun with an idea. We think it's humorous, but we're also idiots. So it may not ever result in anything other than I have one and Redbeard has one.
And maybe some fabulous people might buy or get into it or whatever. But
so, and we're just trying to have some fun. We think it's kind of humorous. Just especially where so just stay tuned. We'll leak out little bits as we're going, but and so again, the abbreviation for his country is RSS, and that's the Republican States of I just laugh every time I say
Slavlandia.
Slavlandia. It's like a goddamn vodka. See, I almost want that to be a vodka.
We'll have that too. Don't worry.
Okay. That's part of your plan. Okay, I like it. I like where you're going with that. Then,
I mean, it's kind of in the name, It's like Slav.
Hey, so hang on. So somebody's Gene.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, Gene has he's got a secret camera, hidden camera, or his his country did work illegally with the CIA to spy on Americans. So they're probably he's got a phone tapped or some shit. But he wants to know what your rules are on tactical nukes from orbit. Is stockpiling allowed, or is it use it and replace it? Don't do it, Baroda. We'll save that for a later. But that has been considered, Gene. That has been considered.
Look, I'm just telling you that the citizenship gifts upon initial citizenship, I am considering very heavily, and I don't think you'll be disappointed. I know Mark isn't, and I'm here to tell you that I have bigger things than Trump planned. I'll tell you that much right now. Okay, it's gonna be freaking awesome. So
stay tuned. It is going to be kind of funny. But now, just on a sadly serious note, so join us tomorrow, as Redbeard and the kids like to say, it's going to be spicy on CLS After Dark. We got 2 snake eaters joining us. Clint from Nemesis Camo, Rick or Patrick, agency, military, still out doing shit, and we're gonna have a good conversation. And unfortunately, some of these things will be brought up. I mean, I know we're kind of speaking about it tangentially, but we will be talking about some of these events that are taking place, and and just the dangers and the trouble that we are in. So, I mean, in a weird way, the project that Redbeard and I are talking about is just a way to maybe whistle past the graveyard, have a little bit of fun with it, type of shit.
And on top of that, I know we had talked about it previously on the last CLS that we did, but one thing, and I know a couple people were kind of into the conversation, but but I do want to kind of revisit the realm of the NATO conversation again, and some of the side subjects that people were bringing up, because you guys killed it on that video for subjects and questions and all of that. And I'm here to tell you, we love seeing so much feedback, because
but it was don't forget, it was just nice to have like such a diverse, you know, from this country, you know, people making comments and asking questions. And just on that note, you know, not to turn this into a CLS After Dark, but you know, Keir, or whatever the hell his name is over in the UK, you know, so to, you know, bringing that over to Gene and some others. Just
sorry, Gene, my condolences.
Yeah, seriously. Like, you know, just like basically coming out and saying we're going to sign a 100-year friendship pact, or a 100-year alliance with the Ukraine. I'm like, are you even sure the Ukraine's going to be there in, like, you know, a couple of weeks? And, you know, and and so again, we're kind of, I'm sidetracking this, but like, since when does any country commit to 100 fucking years of like, I'm going to be your best? Like, that's a government who doesn't have the people in the, you know, in interest. And somebody would say, well, that's a government that really does have its people. No, dude, like, they're not your people. That's a completely different country with its own set of, like, you know, its own personality and its own set of culture. Like, man, you know, we've got to get away from. Yeah, see, I'm bringing us down that road. See, I'm ready for tomorrow night already, boys and girls. Yeah, I'm ready for tomorrow.
Oh man.
Yeah, and then Gene just said, you know, they've got their own Biden. Hey, you know, and you know, hey, I don't see, and I don't understand where speaking out against pedophilia and raping children is ever a bad thing. I don't know why. There's no hesitation there. That's no bueno. Fucking speak out against it. So again, God, is this the Loadout Live, or is this CLS After Dark, Redbeard? I'm not sure anymore.
Yes. Yes is the only appropriate response to that. Also, to Dave, garbage trucks will be a thing. Yes, I will tell you, yes, garbage trucks will be a thing. You don't have to worry about that.
Hey, so one last little plug, and then I'm going to bring it over to Redbeard. So again, you know, kind of a hot mess here tonight. I admit it totally. It's been a long freaking day. Well, and then Redbeard, he had me laughing before we started, so my brain's all in a completely different world. But hey, belts do way more than just hold up your pants. And if you want, again, if you want to put a metal band around your waist, I mean, that might work if you're running like, you know, a 3-gun or whatever. Again, our belts are casual, practical, and tactical. You can run 3-gun, you can run all that stuff. I mean, our normal belt is designed. I mean, that's, again, when I first made it, it was because I was teaching concealed carry and handgun classes at that time. I made it to be a normal, everyday gun belt, not a big, huge, flashy tactical belt or a battle belt, but more of a gun belt. If you like the 1.75, we started doing those a few years ago. I kind of do like the 1.75s, but truth be told, I don't want to convert out all the wings on my holsters to accommodate 1.75. So that's a little bit lazy, but I do like 1.75. It is nice, especially if you had back surgery. Just kind of saying it is kind of nice. And then the last plug, you know, seriously, I do like the CLS gear chat. You know, you don't have to join in and that kind of stuff if you do that kind of thing. But there's some good shit that's going on the backside, stuff that's never going to be out here on ScrewTube or, you know, on the interwebs or any of that kind of stuff. And just one of them, I'm just going to have to do it real quickly here because, you know, again, these are getting a little bit late. But I showed everybody, I call them dragon eggs. They're spicy. Eggs, you know. So most people would use mayo and paprika. How about some horseradish and some ancho chili powder instead, or some, like, you know, spicy paprika? And what do you got? You have an hors d'oeuvre that most of everyone else in your family will never touch, and that way there'll be more for you. So there you go.
And you can find more top quality content like that at the Gear Chat if you go there, which I know you do, right? You want to go there.
I thought you were going to say you could find more I thought you were going to say you could find more quality content like that down at your local dive bar.
Well, I mean, I'll gaslight you either way into going to the Gear Chat, but I'm just here to tell you, you definitely want to go to the Gear Chat. So What are you wait? Why are you still here? Why are you waiting?
Why are you watching? Yeah. All right, everybody, again, just bear with it. Tomorrow's going to be spicy. I think I'm kind of just trying to take a breath here tonight and getting, my energies for tomorrow. Really enjoyed talking to a bunch of people today on the phone and did my customer phone calls. So you guys all know who you are. I mean, you're just great people. I want to give a shout out to Samuel from Canada. I don't even know if he'll ever see this, but, working through some of the issues, from a business perspective, it's just nice to have another human being who isn't trying to screw you over. Right. And is trying to also do his best to figure out so it's really nice. And that's what makes this business great. The vast majority of people I talk to are just stellar, exceptional people. All of you guys today were exactly that. Hats off to Samuel from a couple days ago, working through this issue. Guy wasn't being a dick, and, he could have screwed me over and he didn't do it. And I just, again, hats off. You just I'm an honest, open person. Okay, don't worry about it. We'll figure that out later. It's nice to be able to say that and know the other person isn't going to screw you over and never figure it out later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. So that's, hang on, last comment, and then let's bring it over to you to close this out. So Gene's talking about this is the way. So I got Mandalorian over there, but he's talking about a different this is the way. And then Gear Chat has so much information. And again, there is a lot of fun stuff and people are sharing good intel down there. So, and Learn Me Something's got some new stuff to share. He just has to probably redo the video, and so it because the software won't accommodate it past a certain memory, or a certain status. So he's got to kind of tweak that a little bit. But yeah, trying to have fun over there. That's the kind of private, never going to be out in the public type of thing. Join if you want. Don't join if you don't want. Everybody's busy. Belts don't just hold up your pants. So get a real belt. So again, my last comment before I turn it over to Redbeard. Yeah, years ago when I was doing shows, I remember having this guy come up to me and he had one of those generic big company belts, and I had belts on display and he was talking about, this many, I did this, I'm like, well, so how many? He's like, well, I'm on my third one. And that belt was like $60, $65, but you're on your third belt. Last I checked, 65 and 65 is 130 plus another 65 is 195. Throw in shipping. You spent over, just on that, you spent over $200 plus your time or having your belt fail in the middle of your job or what you're doing. And I just said, hey, dude, or you could have one of my belts, like, what Redbeard has that last, it's a decade later, and it's still
this will outlast you.
Yeah. Yeah. So I said to the guy, I'm like, if you take your belt off and let me cut it in half, I'll give you one of my belts for 50%, and everybody was laughing. We had a little bit of an audience going at that time. And, but that's just it, boys and girls, you do you. I get it. You're like, oh, but that's, $25 more. Like, yeah, but it's also not cheap. It's not a spaghetti noodle. It's not made in China, and it's real mil spec American made materials. It's going to outlast that cheap ass thing. So again, if you don't mind, or if somebody just does all your ordering for you, if you don't mind ordering the same product 3 times in a year, again, you do you, man. Yeah, there you go. I like that. Good. Somebody broke it down. It's math. If you don't like the emotional appeal, let's just bring it to math. Yeah, that's $10 a year for a belt. Yeah,
pays for itself. I mean, literally, without exaggeration, because I've used this at work, this belt has literally helped me make money. So it not only pays for itself, but it pays for my truck, it pays for the mortgage, it pays for all of the different things that I have, because it helps me be able to function every single day. And I'm also not a degenerate who wears his pants down around his knees. So there is that too.
Well, you are a degenerate. You just don't wear your pants down around your knees.
Yeah, well, minor details.
All right. Hey, Redbeard, if you haven't seen him before, if you're new or just watching on demand new, if you can break through the censorship and find that we even exist. But Redbeard's got a great outro. So I'm just going to end it on my side. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate everybody who's here tonight. We always appreciate the chat. We appreciate the smack talking in the comments, the questions. That's what we're trying to do. If you have an idea for something that you want to see us talk about in the future on the loadouts, because I'm going forward with my calendar, but I'm totally open to suggestions. We've got some of those suggestions that we're going to take over to the Millstone Self-Reliance Group on the first Monday of every month. Redbeard and I have been talking about that. And then tomorrow night, We got two just incredible human beings, both snake eaters, coming in. And the title of tomorrow's CLS After Dark is called 2 Minutes to Midnight. You can kind of maybe put things together from there. Well, the first thing you should think about is how awesome Iron Maiden is, and what a great Iron Maiden song that is. But there's a little bit something else behind that. And on that note, thank you for me. Thanks for everybody being here tonight. I'll still do the outro, the woo, but Redbeard's going to give us an outro.
So real quick, I just want everybody to know that I've had conversations with Mark about different gear ideas too. And we had a very interesting conversation pertaining to like load bearing stuff. And what comes of that conversation, I'm not going to say because nothing is set in stone. But I've been kind of whispering in his ear and giving him some ideas.
Sweet nothings into my ear.
Oh, absolutely sweet somethings, I would even say. But there's a couple things that I've talked to him about. Not that I have much of a say in my opinion of how he runs his company. It's his company, but there's a couple ideas that we talked about that we've looked back in history and we're like, why did this change? Doesn't make sense why it changed. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And so it may or may not come of anything, but yeah, something to a point to ponder, I will say. So there he is, Paul.
Yeah, BCP. Better call
so
Paul.
Good to see. So good to see your comment,
yeah.
Paul.
Yeah, he waited till the very end, and then he chimed in with that. Yeah.
And I know Mark wasn't expecting me to say that, but it's just a conversation that we had, and so I hope that I didn't overstep there. But yeah,
I mean, I did not know we were going to bring that up, but that's fine. I mean, yeah, stay tuned. I mean, like to try to, like, if I can summarize it from my side, Redbeard, it's like, it's the same thing here. If you have an idea that you want to see us talk about for a live stream, a podcast, a training thing, whatever, you're a part of this, right? Yeah. I mean, I could be on the phone with Jeremy smoking a cigar, and not being in front of the camera, but you guys are a part of this. So, if you want us to talk about something particular, please do. So, like, to Jeremy's kind of point, that also has to do with products and gear and tweaks. I'm here to tell you, so Jeremy kind of just said it. I'm doing something next week, which is a tweak on one of our products that a customer wanted me to do. If it comes out, if it works out nicely, I'll talk about it. We just did that with the mini Edo. Here it is in front of me. Like, I showed it off, and you guys all wanted it to have.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, these guys on the top. Well, okay, so we just made one so we could show it off, see that video. So that's what it's all about. Yeah. Hey, if no one wants this belt, well, I've got mine. Or if no one wants, to be part of the Republican states of Slavlandia, I'll have mine. But a lot of that really comes from that interplay and that conversation, those adult conversations, and you're like, yeah, I'll try that. If it works out, that'll be cool. I mean, look at Herb Loops there. Herb Loops on the Mother Canteen carrier are named after a great man named Herb. That was his. He was like, hey, could you do this for me? I had to sit and talk it through, and we had to figure a whole bunch of stuff out. And then when we finally did, I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. And he's like, yeah, no, I don't, and I was like, look, dude, if we can incorporate that in a product, he's like, no, I don't want any of that. If you're willing to make that for me, and if I like it, that's good enough for me. And I'm like, yeah. So now when we make a mother, it's probably close to, I would probably put it, it's not over 50%, but it's probably something close to 30% of people who order the mother want the Herb Loops. I even have people, though, but now in all fairness, Redbeard, and then you got to take us out because I'm rambling. But I have people who order the Herb Loops, and then I call them up to go over the order and make sure everything's correct. And they're like, hey, what are the Herb Loops, by the way? So some people just like, I don't know what that is, but I want it. It's an extra, Right. Then they're like, hey, what are those things? What does that even mean? So maybe
if you don't ask, you don't know. So,
well, you know what though, but it is better to have and not need than need and not have,
That's right. So. That's right. Mark, I think you're going to appreciate this. I'm going to pull out an oldie, but a goodie just for you, Mark, because I know you appreciate this. So look, here's my outro.
What this is.
Okay. The flame of liberty shall not and will not ever be extinguished so long as there are good people that are willing to support and defend it. And that means each and every one of you. that means myself and Mark and every single person who's actually genuinely concerned about liberty. It comes down to us. It always has come down to us. And together we can do a lot of really good things. And we can do a lot of really good things with some really good gear too, I would even say. Shameless plug for Mark. But no, liberty should be the primary object of every civilization. It should be the primary object of every aspiration a country could go for, because once you have it, it's one of those things that it's amazing. You know, you can't have the common good of a society without first considering liberty. And if liberty is not protected, then you cannot have a common good. So on that, yeah, I really, really appreciate being able to come into these lives. Thank you, Mark, for taking me in and allowing me to be a part of this, whether it's something like this or whether it's CLS or any of the upcoming stuff. It's really good to be able to see everybody here and get to chum it up with you guys. And I hope to see you guys soon. So.
Right on. All right. Hey, thanks, Redbeard. And no selfish plugs, no plugs during the good outro. I hate to say it. I got so excited that you were going to do it. And then you kind of ruined it for me by mentioning my company in there. Like, no, man. I get it. I appreciate it. Thank you, my friend.
Yeah.
But fucking no, it's about liberty, man. That is, it's one of the best outros ever.
Yeah.
Go back and watch Redbeard in his heyday over on Mission Critical Podcast doing those outros. Freaking nailed it. You could just see me like just beaming and just
so good.
Yeah, whatever. Hey, so real quickly, BCP, high five. Snowshoe Dave's giving you a big amen, brother.
Yeah.
Gene saying thanks. Learn me something. Saying something in Russian. I hope you understand. I don't know what you are, the Tsar, Baroda. So
I am.
Moonwalker said, "What's up, guys?" I said, "Screw it." Tuning in on the clock.
He's at he. I won't say that he's.
Oh,
at
I
work,
got it. No,
but...
I thought it was a time thing, but now I'm picking it up. Hey, glad to see you can make it here, my good man.
Yeah.
You know, nice to see you. Keep up those great pictures on Instagram. It takes really good. Matter of fact, VTech, I'm going to just let you know. I probably won't start again until next week. I've got to start doing it again, but I'm going to kind of follow your lead. I had a giant owl fly in front of me the other day, and I got some pretty cool pictures. So I have to start Instagram again. And I think I'm going to start that next week with this giant owl, kind of an homage to you and the great pictures you take. And then learn me something saying thanks, gentlemen. Redbeard, any final things where I'm taking us out?
No, take us out, man. Just thanks to everybody who comes on to these. You know, I know Mark really appreciates the support, and I just enjoy being here. So,
well, and we enjoy your company, and we enjoy everybody's comments in the live, in the chat, and then over on demand, you know, the comments afterwards. We still do have a contest going on for those, you know, micro Edos. There's some pretty good comments over there. So go watch that video and leave a comment. I'm going to leave that up for comments until I'm ready to make a decision on who the winner is and what we're doing. And we're not quite there yet, but I do think we've got the final product. I already showed you that, but again, hey, thanks for being here tonight. Thanks for leaving comments. Thanks for commenting on the videos. I know it sounds like an old trope, but the censorship is real, and none of this is going to change overnight. Just like the economy is not going to change overnight. The comments on comments, the likes, the shares, you know, whatever, however you want to do that. It really does matter, because I look at I just kind of did this. I did an audit, a couple different audits over this last week or so. And one of the things I looked at is I really looked at social media, and man, you're going to have to really be way smarter and prove how I'm being super stupid to not make me believe that the censorship is real. And it's real. I mean, it's not funny, but on that. So I really appreciate it for you guys to take the time out of your life and away from your family to be here to include our guests. These guys don't get paid. I'm not flying them in from California or someplace else and putting them up in a first class, you know, like they're taking the time out of their day. So I appreciate those guys, appreciate all you guys. Kind of my weird way of kind of starting to get everybody prepped for what this year is going to look like. It's going
to be a good year.
It's going to be a good year, but we got to, but to what Jeremy just kind of said, we've got to work hard to make that a reality, right? Ain't no one else going to do that but us, boys and girls. So thanks for being here. Really appreciate it. All right, Gene, start getting them ready. If you got questions, comments, reach out anytime. I'll do the best I can. And I really seriously, I just mean it. And I'm not doing the Joe Biden, I ain't joking. I mean, I really do mean it. That's what I'm here for. Reach out. I'll do the best I can to help you out. Until then, here we go, Gene. Keep thinking, keep moving, never quit. All right. We'll see everybody tomorrow night on CLS After Dark. All right, everybody, be good.